Bone Temple is taking over my mind, and it is my first 5-star review film of the year, and I just want to talk a little bit about it, so that's what we're going to do today. Hi, hey, hello, if you're new to my channel, my name is Chelsea R. Carpenter, aka Carpenter Official, and a little like and a little subscribe and I will forever be in your debt. Pre-warning, there will be some spoilers, but I will timestamp it on the screen when I start talking about spoilers, so yeah, just a little disclaimer. Firstly, I want to talk about the flow of the film. Bone Temple was filmed directly after filming 28 Years Later, and I think that's why we see such a seamless transition. The flow of this film is absolutely immaculate. Also worth mentioning, a third 28 Years Later film in the trilogy has been announced and has been confirmed. Considering how good 28 Years Later is, Bone Temple absolutely knocked it out of the park for me. Something that I do love about 28 Years Later in general is that it's not just a brain dead zombie film. Pardon the pun. It has such an emotional depth mixed with the brutality that we come to expect from a 28 film, and it really captures how humans are the greatest threat. Forever and always, even post-apocalypse, we are the biggest threat. I want to say that I think that there is such an amazing balance between the absolute carnage that we are seeing going on with the Jimmies in comparison to what Dr. Kelson is doing with Samson. And if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm going on about, and I will get into that a little bit later, but it is absolute cinema, if you will. On that note, I just want to talk about some of the incredible performances that there was in this film. Jack O'Connell, the man you are an incredible actor, and honestly, I am loving his Scream Queen era. I mean, his portrayal of Remick in Sinners speaks for itself, and then you have him as this sadistic cult leader in 28 Years Later. But he's just so clueless at the same time, and he really gets some karma in the third act of the film, which honestly is one of the best third acts of any film I've ever watched. I'm absolutely riding the Bone Temple train at the moment, and it's all I'm going to think about for quite a long time. I think that even if you didn't like 28 Years Later, I think that you would definitely still find some enjoyment in Bone Temple, because I think the vibes of the two films are obviously in the same vein, but I do think that they are quite different vibes. However, if you do want to watch Bone Temple, you absolutely have to watch 28 Years Later, otherwise it's going to make absolutely no sense. There is no hand-holding in this film. They kind of just expect you to know what's going on, and if you don't know what's going on, then I dread to think what this film looks like to you. Also, I just want to say that the score, the soundtrack to this film, wow. We had Iron Maiden, we had Radiohead, we had Duran Duran. The needle drop in the Radiohead little section, incredible, moving, impactful. What more can I say? But we cannot forget about the Iron Maiden performance. And on that note, we are starting to get into spoiler territory, so if you haven't already watched the film, I recommend putting this in your saves and coming back to it later. 28 years later, you could say. Starting off, Jimmy Crystal is such a complex character. I just want to pick the brains of. Like, I just want to know more and more about him. I just think that he's very interesting. He is grotty, he is grim, he is sadistic, and I just want to know more. He is such a troubled character. And don't get me wrong, he deserves everything that he gets in this film, and he gets some, but my god, maybe it's the empath in me, but as soon as a villain starts crying and saying that they want their mum, I just think that that is such a human thing to do. And you see throughout the film that he is arguably not human. I think throughout this film we see a lot of Jimmy Crystal being evil and subhuman. He is not a person anymore. He doesn't see people as people, really. You can't do the things that he was doing and seeing people as people. Do you know what I mean? To see him in such a vulnerable human moment, and it just kind of, you're not looking at this evil sadistic man. I mean, you are, but you're also kind of looking at a very, very traumatized, mentally ill 8-year-old boy, you know? So let's get into the ending. Because of the ending of Bone Temple, we know that Spike and Kelly are going to be found by Jim, played by Cillian Murphy, obviously. And they've really left this film with such a great ending to set up for a third film. I'm going to be doing a whole video based on theories for the next film in the series, so stick around for that for more kind of in-depth theory analysis kind of thing. But moving on to Dr. Coulson, the star of the show. Dr. Coulson's rendition of Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden is quite honestly one of my favourite pieces of film ever. It was a bold move and it could have ended quite hard to watch. Scenes like that can either be the toughest scene you've ever seen or can be cringe. And there's nothing worse than being cringe, obviously. And then Jimmy got crucified and I was like, wow, that is metal as fuck. But I think that the character development that Dr. Coulson had throughout 28 Years Later and Bone Temple is very admirable to the writers, because I don't think that they possibly could have done a better job. He really was the heart of the film. Coulson ends up finding out that there are layers to the infection and it's not as simple as what they once thought it was. As a result of this, he creates a cocktail of medication in an attempt to treat the infection as a form of psychosis. And lo and behold, it works. Samson regains some humanity, and when Samson says thank you at the end of this film, it absolutely broke my heart. I know I sound like a broken record, but I just think that this film was so impactful. And I really hope the Samson storyline isn't over, and I hope that we do see him in the third film. Now, what I want to just a little bit dabble in is the fact that we don't see full confirmation that Jimmy and Dr. Coulson die. Now, I'm a bit of a Delulu person, okay? I'm a little bit Delulu. Until I see that they are dead, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Something else I absolutely love, if Dr. Coulson is dead, I love that 28 Years Later are not afraid to kill off main characters. Now, this was a main criticism that I had of Stranger Things Season 5, with the fact that the Duffer Brothers are so terrified of killing off characters that fans love because they just don't want to upset anyone. 28 Years Later says, fuck that, I will kill everyone that you love and you are gonna just sit there and accept it, because it's gonna be one of the most beautiful scenes you've ever seen. To wrap things up, I am just so excited for the next installment in this franchise, because I just know it's gonna be an absolute banger. I think that the next film is gonna be more focused on the infected rather than the human aspect. I think that we've explored that quite a lot, and now obviously if they do anything with the medication side of things, I think it opens up an entire new avenue for the franchise, really. I do fear that my expectations are a little bit too high, but I feel like it's going to be pretty hard for them to mess it up, because honestly they know what they're doing and they do it well. Thank you for watching my review of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. I'd love to talk about it in the comments, and if anyone has any video suggestions for me, let me know. I'm planning on doing a couple of movie breakdowns here and there, some reviews, maybe some like character analysis stuff, but I don't know, I'm quite excited. I'm having a lot of fun, so, but thank you all.